of the songs, wasn't it?
It was not.
No.
Welcome back to SHOWGAYS, a Cine Musical podcast where we talk about all things movie musicals. This week we are doing our Summer Stock Pro Shot Series.
No one told me that we were doing this. Okay.
And we had a great time. So we'll get to that in just a moment. But first, of course, I want to introduce our other fabulous hosts. As always, I'm Adam here. Molly, how are you?
I'm pretty good. I realize that the listeners, they get a little bit of like information about our personal lives. So I know I've mentioned my boyfriend. I just want to let everyone know that I don't have a boyfriend anymore. Because I have a fiance.
Yeah. You got us, girl.
Damn.
We really thought like, we're starting strong. We're starting. Woo.
Wow. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Molly.
How are you able to carry that hand around? I mean, you must be dragging it everywhere you go.
It's a real
When did it happen?
Friday night. Took me to a hiking trail in the same area where we took our first picture together as a couple.
Oh.
And you said no, right?
And you said no.
I said no, but I
it's
still
in a
got
public
the ring.
setting.
But you still took the ring.
Mm-hmm.
I stole the ring from him. Yeah.
Oh, congratulations, Molly.
I'll have to hear all about it from when RJ goes to the wedding because I'm sure I won't be invited, but RJ will.
I will only invite RJ to the wedding.
That's so exciting.
Well, Adam will probably
congratulations, obviously, as well.
Yeah.
Adam will probably be working the wedding, I'm assuming, to warm up the crowd, to do some.
Oh, just like as an MC. Yeah.
The DJ.
Yeah.
He's a DJ, but he doesn't play any music. He's just there for the hype part of being a DJ.
Yes, yeah.
I need to hire a separate DJ for the actual music part.
Yeah. And we butt heads a lot, but it's like a lovable enemy shit. Yeah.
Oh, fun. Okay. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. So this really is a bummer for then me to turn and be like, hey, to our own pod Ugly Stick, RJ, how are you? Ugly Stick is a reference to the show that we watched, by the way, in case anyone has forgotten.
Oh, yes.
Molly was like, oh my God. What the hell? I don't get this humor. I'm doing okay. I'm eating a little chicken and rice soup. Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
it's not going to compare with what Molly came in with. So
No.
There's really no need to try.
I am sneak peek for everyone because who knows when this episode will be posted. So it may have already happened.
It should be.
Or have already revealed.
It should be Wednesday.
Oh, okay. So tomorrow I'm bleaching my hair and I'm going a vibrant color. So
are you going to tell us what color, or that's going to be the surprise?
maybe that'll be the surprise.
Okay.
Yes.
Exciting. Wait, but is this like a multi-step process?
It'll just be one and see how it goes.
Okay.
It's not. I would not call it a vibrant color. What you're dyeing it.
Yeah, it started more vibrant, and then like the more I looked at it, and the more what will probably happen is it'll be a little bit more.
But it will be
darker.
a color.
But it will be a color.
Yeah. But I'm surprised that because I feel like sometimes when you have really dark hair, you have to do like multiple bleach rounds before you can add the color.
Yes, I think that's why I was like, maybe I don't need it to be this vibrant, this bright of a color.
The most bright
hue.
color. Gotcha.
Yeah. So I'm excited. I'm gonna, spend all morning in Chinatown. I'm assuming it's gonna be like a 2-hour situation, and then get some dim sum while I'm there.
And you're gonna find out if you have a sensitive scalp real quick.
That's true.
I don't think you will.
We'll see.
I don't think you don't seem like the type, but
yeah,
we'll see.
Molly, you're so tan. I just realized.
I'm actually
burnt.
Pink. Yeah, a little bit more burnt than tan.
My shoulders are burned. My arms are tan though.
Yeah,
because they've been working outside. Yeah.
Camping.
How were the campers? Bundle of energy, I'm sure.
Yeah, we're getting through it. 2 more weeks.
Ooh,
Nearly there.
Crazy. That's crazy. Summer's almost done.
Yeah. Although the schools go back really early this year, and I don't know if in San Diego in general. So schools are back August 11th, and that's why. Yeah, there's only a couple more weeks of camp.
Well, that was thrilling. I'm gonna pivot now.
How about you, Adam?
Yeah, Adam, what's going on with you?
How are you?
No, nothing. I'm fine. Thank you. I've had a zit on my face that will not leave. I've had it for like a week. I'm really about to take a scalpel to my face and pull the skin back to just fissure out. But
wow, that's dramatic.
Isn't that grotesque? I want to turn now to Molly's mailbag and RJ's replies. Well, a new segment we've never had to enjoy before because nobody ever comments on YouTube. But our latest episode brought the people out of the woodwork, honey. But first, of course, Molly's mailbag.
We got an email from Michael. The subject line is K-pop Demon Hunters. The content is, do I need say more? You should watch this for Showgays. You know why. I assume that this is a musical. I guess that makes sense.
It is an animated musical on Netflix, yes.
I did tell my co-host after the last show was done recording that my 9-year-old nephew is apparently obsessed with this movie, and to let them know that he would be a good guest star if they wanted to cover it on one of the
I was just about to say that your nephew, I'm sure, would love it. So I'm glad to hear he's already on the bandwagon.
Yeah. He's way into it. So we may have to look at the calendar.
I'll be honest, Molly, it's got great songs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great songs.
I mean, you guys are obviously K-pop fans, though. So would I like it even as someone who's not in the K-pop world?
I believe
if you liked Zombies 3, you'll love K-pop Demon Hunter.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And there's a new Zombies out, Molly. We're missing, we're missing the chain.
But how can it top? You know, why would we watch an attempt to top Zombies 3? You know what I mean?
Right.
Why would we watch Zombies 4?
I'd like to see that zombie get topped.
Oh my God.
Stop
His name is Milo Mannheim, Adam.
Oh, I know.
Oh.
Well, that's, thank you for the suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately for everyone, we've already planned the season. But, we'll see.
Anything can
Winds change.
Winds change.
Winds change all the time.
And it brings Mary Poppins in, those winds changing too. RJ, tell us about Om Shanti Om in our replies.
We've got plenty of comments. Auburn, one of our 4, dear 5, listeners.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
And also a friend
13,
of
14,
the Ampliverse.
15, 16,
wow, Adam's counting.
17 comments.
Wow.
Auburn comments. Auburn replies, I've said the episodes where you guys lose it over bad movies are super funny and fun, but nothing beats a Jet 2 holiday, and nothing beats you guys gushing over musicals that you loved. This turned out to be such a heartwarming episode, and I know I'm going to come back to it if I need a pick-me-up. That is so sweet.
Auburn, that is so sweet. I love that.
Yes.
I'm always worried when we like something too much that the episodes are just boring.
Yeah.
From Faraway Laughter. Did not expect this. OMG. Also very pleasantly surprised to know it was the highest grossing, because although it is a widely loved film, I think few people would put it in even Chakra Khan's top 5 iconic films of all time. Om Shanti Om is a great start if y'all plan to venture into more Bollywood movies for Showgays. Oh boy, you're going to have a blast. Listen, I think we were very complimentary about just you get everything in a Bollywood film. So, and we were tuned in the entire movie.
And as I told the boys over text, if we're looking for engagement, we should turn this into a Bollywood.
If we're just going from a purely financial position.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then I remembered we had brought it up in one of our Boys Love videos at one point on our Patreon. And we just made the comment about the cameo number. And someone had commented that was when I was 13 and watched that movie for the first time, that truly was such a gag. I was gagged at every single person that came out. So it really was a moment from the community.
Read this last one.
Okay, so this one is from Fari. Not sure if anyone has mentioned this, but that scene where Omk goes out to the balcony to greet his fans is something that Shah Rukh Khan does in actual life. There are many videos of it. Also, Bollywood is Hindi movies specifically, so it would be interesting to see what you think of movies from the South, which is Collywood, Tollywood, and Mollywood. So many good options. I suggest Bahubali in either Telugu or Tamil.
Okay, and I think Tamil was the language that when in Om Shanti Om, when he is pretending to be a movie star from the South, I think.
Yes.
Be in a Tamil movie.
Also, they wish they were able to see our cameo entrances. So the audio descriptions weren't enough.
I was laughing to it as I was editing it, and I gotta be honest, guys. The when they were mine was. It was silent, but it was still loud. Was real. It was real. That was a real funny description. Well, that was fun. Yeah.
Didn't you say that someone told us about the dubbing? More about her being dubbed?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was also from one of our comments, maybe, or
I don't remember where it was. But yes, basically, so we had a conversation about dubbing, and we were confused as to why it seemed to be surprising that they would be a little hesitant to say Topeka was dubbed, because often the dubbing singing voices are like famous in and of their own right or respect. And somebody commented that the accusation actually is that she's dubbed through the entire film, and that's why it was like such a big deal.
So her speaking,
because apparently she is not a native. She's from South India, so I don't think she speaks native Hindi, or she like didn't master the accent perfectly enough. Yeah. RJ and I have discovered this in Chinese dramas, that they will dub entire characters in a show to make sure they have like the proper like Beijing Mandarin accent.
Like intonations and like pronunciation.
Right. I just think it's funny that we know so little about Hindi that we didn't notice at all that somebody was dubbed the entire time.
Oh no. Yeah. No. I know. I was like a baby watching Coco Melon. I'll be so honest. It was just I just had a goofy smile on my face the whole time.
Truly.
Yeah. It was very fun. I'm really eager to watch more. Somebody was like, just watch all of Shah Rukh Khan's film. Just all of it. I was like, oh, okay.
It would definitely be its own podcast.
And then, yes, the other question that people had, or we had during the podcast, was like, there was something about his name that was like, why is it so bad? And it's, so about the name Om Prakash Makhija, Maki and Makija sounds like Maki, which also it's a homonym, which means housefly in Hindi.
Oh, housefly. Okay, gotcha.
Got it. That's the joke. Hilarious. Okay.
Great joke.
We're moving on. Thank you for writing in. Thank you for your comments. We love hearing what you guys think. Let's go now to the challenge this week for RJ, who is challenged to summarize the plot of 2017's Broadway musical Come From Away in a minute or less. A one-act show. We love to see.
Loved it.
And your time starts now.
Come From Away tells the story of Gander, Newfoundland on September 11th, 2001, when 38 planes had to make emergency landings in their large airport and small town. 7,000 passengers needed food, shelter, safety, and support as the American airspace was closed until further notice. The story is told through an ensemble of performers who portray both the residents of Gander, such as the mayor, teacher, and a reporter, who step out of their daily lives and routines to be of service to the passengers, those who come from away. The performers also portray the passengers, or plane people, such as the first female captain of a commercial flight, an Arab chef, a mother waiting to hear from her son, all who try to accept the kindness of the quirky Newfoundlandians, as well as tackle the discomfort and fear they have with one another as passengers from all walks of life, amidst being isolated in fear and worry. As the airspace is finally cleared, the passengers and Gander residents all adjust back to their normal life in a post-terrorist attacked America, but remember the strength and community they created in Gander, reuniting 10 years later to celebrate the bonds they have formed with one another and a scholarship in the town's honor.
And that was just over a minute. Good job.
Thank you.
I like that you said Newfoundlandiers, or Newfoundlandians?
Newfoundlandians? It's Newfoundlanders.
Newfoundlanders. Is
the I couldn't remember which one it was. The Islanders. This was interesting to try and summarize, because I didn't want to just summarize the events, but more about like summarizing what you are watching, like the experience of Come From Away.
It is very ensemble based. It is not. There is a linear plot of like the planes are coming, the planes are leaving, but like there's not a central character that you're following. So it's not a linear story in that way.
There's one person who got a Tony nomination.
Jen Colella. She plays the pilot, but even. It wasn't like just for the pilot. Like she plays like 3 different roles as far as I can count, probably. But it's not like the show's like about her story. It's just like one of the many stories in the show. So, RJ, what is your relationship to specifically Come From? We're gonna do 2 rounds today. Okay. We're gonna do round 1 is what's everybody's relationship to Come From Away, and then we're gonna go back around. We're gonna say where was everybody when 9/11 happened. Adam's eyes are sparkling.
I love talking about 9/11. It's weird.
It's so weird. Okay. My relationship with this musical is none. This was my first time encountering the music, the how the story was portrayed. I just knew that this was about the planes that landed in a Newfoundland area, place, city, town during 9/11, and that there was a pilot. Because I think I've seen clips of her song, Jen Collella's song, through just osmosis, through, Tumblr and the Tonys probably. But that was pretty much it.
Great. Molly?
I would say pretty similar. I had heard of it. I heard that people liked it. That it was about, planes landing in Newfoundland on 9/11. But I did not have any sense of like what the actual plot would be. I hadn't really heard the music. I didn't even know about the person being nominated based on the pilot role or anything like that. Yeah.
Same, which is weird because I'm very interested in 9/11. I don't want to say I like 9/11, but I'm very interested in the events of 9/11.
Well, that is special interests.
Yes. And our good friend Miranda, who's also been on the pod, she and I share this special interest together, shockingly, which we found out many years actually into our friendship. We did not know this for quite some time until it was revealed. And then, so she was always like, you should see it. You would really like it, da-da-da-da-da. But I just never did. I think it probably toured here, I'm assuming, but.
I think at the time we were already doing SHOWGAYS and because this came out 2021, the Pro Shot, right?
The Pro Shot came out in 21, yeah.
And so I think it was already kind of like, well, we'll probably watch it at some point for SHOWGAYS of some kind.
Yeah.
So.
This was my first time with the musical. Now, I'll just say, I'm not going to make them say, but if they want to. But I was in 4th grade. We were all in 4th grade, in fact, when 9/11 happened, because we're all the same age. Yes. I was in 4th grade. We had at our school, we had an apple room, which was like the in-school suspension room, the disciplinary room if kids got sent out of class. And it was like
the apple room?
That's what we called it. We just called it the apple.
Molly, what did your school call detention?
I think it was an acronym.
What did your school call detention?
Detention? I think.
Okay.
I never got into detention, and
oh my god, no one is shocked by this, Molly.
Rita, cover your ears. I did get it one time in high school because my phone went off in class.
Oh my god!
I never went in elementary school.
You luckily weren't stoned.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
That's lucky.
Ours was called JUG. It stood for Justice Under God.
Oh wow, that's heavy.
Yeah, and it worked exactly like detention. They give you a little slip. I had it once as well for talking. Actually, no, not for talking. Well, one for talking. I guess I had it twice because the second time I got it because I was late for class, but it was because my class was coming from a math class all the way across the campus. And so everyone in that class that transferred to this are like, we all got late and we all got jugged together.
Well, maybe you should have thought about that before you enrolled in a class in high school, RJ.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, but it was like, I spent an hour after school doing detention.
Anyway, back to my 9/11 story. So
you still understand why it's called the Apple Room. There has to be some reason why it was called that.
I'm sure it was an acronym, but I don't know what the acronym was. I was only there in that school for 4th and 5th grade because then after that is when our school district changed the schools to be K through 4, 5 through 8, 9 through 12. So I was right in the middle when all that switch happened. But this was 4th grade. So anyway, that class was that classroom was 2 doors down. That teacher of that classroom, she normally didn't have anything to do, or she was just on call if kids got sent there. So
was Carrie?
No, Carrie was my teacher, but there was another teacher who she would just listen to the radio in her classroom when she didn't have any kids in there. So she came over. She was good friends with our teacher. She came over and was like, you need to hear what happened, da 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 da. So then our teacher, Mrs. Cannon, tried to explain on the whiteboard because she was so I remember her drawing the Twin Towers and a plane to help explain, which is crazy because wow, it's weird to think about now. The idea of it was such a foreign concept of a plane flying into the building that she was you wouldn't even know what that would look like. So she was trying to demonstrate it.
Yeah.
And then it was I think after the second plane or the second tower was hit is when our school district made the decision that anybody 4th grade and up could get TVs, the classrooms would get TVs to watch the news, which now looking back is crazy that at 10 years old, they were yeah, you can watch that. That's fine.
Yeah.
Because obviously now we're all very aware of what the images were being shared on television.
Yeah.
And my mom came and picked me up from school because my mom was a federal employee. So they like got sent home for the day. And so she just came and picked me up and we went home. My friend Ari, who's also on the Ampliverse, she stayed at school all day. And like, she was like, we just watched. It was just on the whole day. Like they never turned the TVs off.
But they still did school or no? School was, everyone just sat.
Everyone just sat and watched it all day. And I do not know why I have such a distinct interest in it. But even when I was like in 8th grade, was it 8th grade? I think 7th or 8th grade. We had this like at the school I went to for that year, we had this like science lab, but it was like a tech lab, basically. I think that's what we called it, actually.
Computers.
A bunch of computers, and you would do different projects based on like computers. So one of the like stations was like they had this software you could like build timelines. It was I don't know why this was like such a specific thing, but I got that and I had to do a project about it. So I chose like the events of 9/11 and I mapped it out on a timeline. It's crazy.
Wow.
I was like, it was very dark.
Yeah.
I want to be clear. I'm not like a conspiracy theorist. Like that's not.
It's the fascination of just the event and how it.
Yeah, we make jokes about Adam being a conspiracy theorist, but he's not actually.
I'm not actually a conspiracy theorist. I don't think Bush did 9/11. I think this is a horrible event that happened, and I think more than anything else, it was like. My mom like worked in the government, so there was like a little bit of like a fear that I had that like this could happen to her, even though obviously like they weren't going to fly to South Bend, Indiana to the bankruptcy court. Like that wasn't happening. But you're like at that age, your brain is just like making connections that don't actually mean anything. But
and everyone was really like, there was so much panic about like what would the next place be,
right?
Right. Now we know there weren't next places. I mean, multiple places on that day, but after that, then it was done. So
and we had just visited New York like the summer prior, and on that trip, my mom was like, we can either go to the top of this Empire State Building or we can go to the top of the Twin Towers. And my sisters outvoted me for the Empire State Building, and I remember my mom being like, it's okay, next time we come, like. We'll go to the Twin Towers. And so that was like weird. And also I was just at that age where like New York was like the most fascinating thing in the world to me. Like I had a little Statue of Liberty. Like I was like just perfectly at that age where it was like, wow, the big 8 pole.
Yeah. Center of the universe.
So that's it. If you want to say yours, you can. It doesn't matter. We don't have to do this.
Mine's not.
I'm assuming long. Molly's is very similar. It's just like we were in 4th grade and
Molly's is like same, but in Minnesota.
I mean, I remember. I didn't know what the Twin Towers were. I had very little context for it. The thing I most remember is that there was a kid in my class who his mom was like on a business trip to New York, and then he got pulled out of class to talk to his mom for her to tell him that she was okay. Because I think that we had been told that it happened, but I was kind of like, okay, that. I don't really know what that means. And then the fact that he got pulled out of class, that I was like, wait, it's like a big enough deal that like anyone in the whole city of New York needs to check in with the kid.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that we did watch some of the news in the afternoon. I think we all went to like the auditorium kind of thing and they had the TV on, but it was definitely later in the day. And I feel like I don't remember seeing anything particularly traumatic because I think it was like when things were just kind of in rubble, if that makes sense. So like I definitely didn't see like the second plane fly into the tower at the time or anything like that. So I think I was kind of lucky that I didn't get the worst of the terrible images at the time. RJ?
I was living in the Philippines still. And I remembered that, so our classrooms also had TVs. And I remembered when I came in, obviously, I'm trying to, it would have been like evening when it happened. So it had already happened in the morning. Like by the time I woke up and like went to school, the news had already happened. So like we were just watching. I remember watching it still. Like I think we just either our teacher turned it on or like whatever, like in the homeroom period before classes, like the class fully started. And I remember watching it and it was like, wow, that's crazy. Like that's kind of like,
yeah,
that was the general feeling. Was like, wow, that's insane. That was happening. We were
go
ahead.
Sorry.
Well, I was gonna say went on a trip to America like a few months after. And I remember it specifically like we were going to DC because I have like a vivid memory of seeing like the Pentagon still like under construction or something. I was like, there's a whole
fascinating.
And I don't know the timeline of like how
I've
soon
still never seen.
after?
I've been to DC twice, and I've never seen the Pentagon because
me neither.
It's not in It's like famously in Virginia. I think.
Yeah, I think
I've
my
actually never
dad.
been to DC, so of course I don't see the Pentagon.
Oh,
You'd love
On my
DC.
list.
So I remember like driving by the Pentagon and seeing it, and then I also vividly remember, I think it was JFK. And like the security line being so long, like incredibly long, that I think it was like my mom or my dad had to stay in line, and then like I had to be with someone else, like with my siblings, like sitting down and eating or something like that. So
yeah,
I remember like that November, I want to say it was like 2 months later, my mom had to take a flight to a business conference in DC. And I remember like taking her to the airport, watching the plane like take off or whatever, and being like, she's going, like, I was like, she's going to die. Like I was like convinced it was going to happen.
I do remember the fear around planes. And then Julian from college, he was supposed to be on not one of the planes, but he was supposed to be on a plane on 9/11.
Wow.
His cousin was getting married, and then she like canceled the wedding at the last minute. So they canceled their flight. And so for like a long time, he would get hassled at the airport because he was on this list of like, that was very suspicious that you guys were going to fly on 9/11 and then you canceled it.
Whoa.
But he would have been like 11 or 12. Like he would have been like 12.
Oh, yeah. He would as a child. But I mean, he was going with his mom. So I don't know if it was his mom that would be under suspicion.
It was like his family. Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
that's crazy.
Yeah. Oh, I was going to ask, do you guys think if something like this happened now, do you think that they would not let the kids watch the news? Or do you think it's just like such a human impulse that like you almost like
I don't think you'd have to let the kid. Everyone has phones.
Everyone
now.
has phones.
Like there'd be no even like let them. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is the weirdest part. And I do like that they kind of address it in the show. It is like addressed in the show of like the fact that
they didn't have
one
phones, so
had
no one
any
knew.
idea what happened for hours.
Yeah.
Even some of the pilots hadn't been told like specifically what had happened.
It like wasn't until some of the passengers got in the school and like Beulah, the teacher, was like, "Oh, you don't know. Well, settle in, and then the TVs are on right there. Like, take your time, basically, in doing it." It was interesting that like no one. Obviously, I think in the show it's like dramatized, but like there was no one that was like, "This happened." Like it's like you have to discover, like you have to watch.
You definitely have to know about 9/11 to watch this show. I mean, I think that that's like a pretty fair assumption that anyone watching a Broadway musical is aware of 9/11, but like they never explicitly spell out what happened. So you definitely have to know that context. Yeah.
Yeah.
They, when I worked at Disney and I would work with other cast members who had worked at the company for a long time, I liked, like once I became friendly with them, I would like to ask them their story because it was like one of the only days Disney's like closed the parks in the middle of the day and just how bizarre it was because again, like no one knew, like guests didn't know why. And the cast members only would find out if they went back to the break room and saw on TV what was happening and then like had to go escort people out. Like it was, it's just like that world doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, I could see Disney being a genuine, like, that would be a concern that would be a target. Because, you know, it's kind of emblematic of America. People were worried in Minnesota that the Mall of America would be like a future target, which I think was not that logical, but like on the scale of things could have happened. Yeah.
Well, that Mall of America, I mean, all the malls are where the nuclear warheads are, which we all famously know.
That's what we were hoping.
That's the one conspiracy theory that Adam is.
It's like real.
It's like half a conspiracy.
Oh my God.
Okay, so let me talk about the what this is based on. I'm not doing 9/11. You're welcome. I'm not giving you the background about 9/11.
There's a million documentaries on Netflix you can go on, I'm sure. Visit the museum.
I think there's a new one. I actually think there's a new one that just debuted on Netflix that Ari was telling me about. That's a nice
If you're going to watch a documentary on Netflix, though, I would look up some information about it before you do, just because there are so many conspiracy theories about it. We want to make sure that it's all verified information.
Generally, though, if you are going on a trip to New York, highly recommend the museum. It's
the memorial.
The memorial. It's so well done.
It's very well.
I think when I went to New York, when I was like 16, they were like building it. So I went there to see like where the buildings weren't anymore, but I think it was before that stuff had opened.
That's what we call ground zero, Molly.
Yes, I know what ground zero is.
So this was Operation Yellow Ribbon is what this was officially called. This was 225 to 240 aircraft were diverted to 17 Canadian airports across the country. Basically, 500 flights were already en route to America at the time of the attacks. And so only those past the point of no return were diverted to Canada, meaning they had passed the like halfway mark of being across whatever ocean they were crossing.
Okay.
If they hadn't gotten that far, they turned around and went back to where they started. And then Gander is technically the first airport on a transatlantic flight that you come to when you, because famously, if you've ever been on an international flight, it looks on a flat map like you're going in like a curve up and over. That's just because of the curvature of the Earth. So it is the first airport on that route, and it took 6,600 passengers and crew into a town of less than 10,000. And the prime minister at the time stated that in a span of just a few hours, the population had jumped by more than 50%, which is insane. It was not the one with the most. I think there was a Nova Scotia airport that took in 1,000 more people. Wow. And Vancouver took in 2,000 more people. But Vancouver obviously is a major city. And Nova Scotia, while still rural, Nova Scotia is pretty rural. It's not as sequestered as Newfoundland is.
Yeah.
So Come From Away. Music and lyrics are by Irene Sankoff and David Hine. The book is by Irene Sankoff and David. Oh, music, lyrics, and book. Sorry, all three. By both of them. I thought his name was so sorry. It appeared on Broadway in 2017. It had its first run at La Jolla, Mali, in San Diego, and then it went to the Seattle Rep for a bit, and it like had the biggest sale. I think at the time it was like the biggest sales La Jolla had ever had. Wow. And then it sold out Seattle Rep. And then I think it went for a month to Washington, D.C. and then finally went to Broadway. So very well liked, even from the get-go. These writers had done a like Toronto Fringe Festival musical called like My Mom's Queer Wiccan Wedding, My Jewish Mom's Queer Wiccan Wedding, or something like that. Like something so crazy that I was like, how do you go from that to this? But I think it was like in part they were such a hit at Toronto that they wanted like to do another Canadian thing. I don't think they are Canadian specifically, but that's where they found the story. So the characters are composites of a bunch of different people, except basically the only one that's like true is the pilot. She was an actual pilot. She's still living. I'm sorry. She is an actual pilot. I think she is retired now, but she was flying a flight from Paris to Dallas on the morning of 9/11, got diverted into Gander. She was the first pilot. She was the third pilot in American Airlines history, and then the first captain for a commercial flight in American Airlines history, which she talks about herself. Female pilot.
You just said first pilot.
She was the first pilot ever. She was 100 years old. First female pilot. Yeah. And first female captain. So she's real. She actually ended up developing a friendship with Jen Colella, who portrayed her in the show. And right before they opened on Broadway, she gave her the like pin, the like flight, the wings that she was wearing on the morning of September 11th to use in the show, which is really cool.
Yeah, that is very cool.
And then, the show was nominated for Best Musical, but it did not win. It lost to Dear Evan Hansen. I'll come back to that later during the Letterboxd reviews. And at the time, here's a couple critics' reviews of the show. Ben Brantley from the New York Times wrote, "Try if you must to resist the gale of good that blows out of Come From Away, the big bear hug of a musical, though it starts off in a grating key of deep earnestness and there are moments that feel a little too heartwarming. However, quote, even the most stalwart cynics may have trouble staying dry-eyed during the portrait of heroic hospitality under extraordinary pressure." And then in a more negative review, Jesse Green from New York Magazine said it was aggressively nice. And he wrote that New Yorkers may be permitted a bit of side eye about a work that borrows our local tragedy as a background for 100 minutes of Canadian civic boosterism. However, he did call it tightly directed and sung beautifully. That's pretty much all the background on the show I was going to talk about. Here's the info about the pro shot. It is directed by Christopher Ashley. It is produced by Jennifer Todd, Bill Condon, Nick Meyer, and Mark Gordon. It stars Patrina Bromley, Jen Colella, Delon Grant, Joel Hatch, Tony LePage, Caesar Samoya, Hugh Smith, Ashid Van Wieren, Emily Walton, Jim Walton, Sharon Wheatley, and Paul Whitty. Cinematography is by Tobias Schlesler. It is edited by Leslie Jones and Virginia Katz. The music,
Leslie Jones.
I know. I don't think it's the same Leslie Jones.
Probably a different one, yeah.
Maybe she moonlights as an editor. I don't know. Production companies: Apple Studios, Entertainment One, Junkyard Dog Productions, Radical Media, and Alchemy Production Group. It is distributed on Apple TV Plus. That's where you can find it presently. It was released on September 10th, 2021. Its running time is 106 minutes. Yeah.
This is our second Christopher Ashley
Pro shot?
Pro shot.
What did he do? No. Did he do Legally Blonde?
He did Diana.
He did Diana.
We are
iconic.
Last year. So we are,
yeah. I think
I do think this is a real step up from Diana. I gotta say.
That's obvious, yes.
I'll be big and brave and I'll say it. That's all I had. Did we wanna? Should we get into it?
Let's get into it.
Let's go. Let's get on this rock. The Rock.
Okay, so knowing nothing about the show, other than I basically know everything surrounding the show, but not the show itself.
Did you know about the gander, the diverting planes, and
I had heard about I didn't know it was called Operation Yellow Ribbon, but I had heard the situation happened. That there were flights that had been grounded. Because I remember even when I was little, listen, we don't have a big airport in South Bend, obviously, but we have an airport in South Bend. And I do remember the few days after it being so weird that there were no plane. I never saw a plane in the sky for the next few days.
Yeah.
Well, that was really chilling when the pilot was no one was flying. She was I'd never seen the airport so empty.
Mm-hmm. What was I saying? So I didn't know anything. Okay. So was shocked. Didn't know how it was going to be presented. Mm-hmm. Didn't know that it was such an ensemble piece. Didn't know what the music was going to sound like. I just no context for anything in regards to the show. I think this is well, first of all, I thought it was great. I don't know. I thought it was really good. I think that
the musical itself or the product,
the musical itself, because really in the pro shots, really all we end up talking about is the musical itself, more so than the filming. Although I will discuss the filming because I think the filming is done extremely well. But I think the show's great. I think it reminded me a lot of a less somber Laramie Project. Laramie Project is a show about the unfortunate murder of Matthew Shepard in Wyoming. And it's mostly monologues.
Yes.
But it is presented as a compendium. It's a docudrama, basically.
Yeah. I do feel compelled whenever Laramie Project comes up to say that there are some real inaccuracies in that piece. I think it's often presented as full, almost a work of scholarship. And I'm not saying there weren't real interviews, but there's more complexity to the Matthew Shepard story. He probably knew his attackers. There were drugs involved. So it's just a more complicated tale than totally innocent kid encountering these homophobes who he had never met before story. I understand why it's important to tell that story. I understand why he's become an icon of gay martyrdom. I still think it's important to tell the story, but I feel Laramie Project kind of plays fast and loose with the facts sometimes to make him out to be more of a perfect victim, which I think is problematic because people don't have to be a perfect victim to be a victim.
Right.
Yeah. But we're not talking about Laramie Project.
We are talking about
yes. But this is not in most ways, this is not Laramie Project. Obviously, this is a musical. There is no most of the characters are not a one-to-one to a specific person. They're composites of different, especially the Newfoundlanders. They're composites of a bunch of different people. So they took a bunch of stories and tried to tell it in the most cohesive way possible. And it is mostly a series of, I would say, like vignettes that like run by you extremely quickly.
Yeah.
But I think it is like executed so well. And this is a show where sometimes I think this is such a great, for people who don't know what theater is and are like, what does a director do? Right? Like, what's the job of a director? This is a perfect thing to show them, be like, someone had to figure out how this all could be on stage and make sense.
Yeah.
And that I think is a real highlight of the show is the direction of it. But that's my overall thought. RJ?
I really liked it as well. I knew that the music was like folk, like whatever the Newfoundland sound was going to be, which I think it's fascinating that it is like kind of Scottish, kind of like, like folksy. Cause I like country. Yeah. Cause like, for me, like the Northeast Canadian provinces are like kind of like a question mark for me sometimes, because I feel like we don't hear about it. Like it stops in Quebec, and then like you don't hear about the rest. And so it was kind of fun to see and get to learn about that culture. I liked the sound of the music just because some folksy like musicals like really hit the tone for me sometimes. Like it just I don't know, it just strikes such a like communal feeling. And I think like this show, I am a big ensemble theater nerd. Like I like in college and in high school, like those were the plays and the shows that I sought out. Like I like a good directed dress and like a stating my feelings kind of like play. So I liked, like, honestly, I really love the book about it, of the show. Like that kind of, it felt like documentary theater. It felt like they were real, you could have told me that like they were taken like from like actual interviews and stuff, and I would have believed you. It felt so real in that way. So I really like that whole aspect of it. And I love an ensemble show where everyone plays different characters and like they fill the world. So this was like right up my alley, I felt like. And if I had like seen this like on Broadway, like at the time it came out, I'm sure I would also be like singing its praises like to this day and be like, that would have been like one of my favorite musicals of all time, I think.
Yeah. Molly?
I was a little less enthusiastic than you two, but that's good because that'll create some dynamic for the podcast. I don't think that it did anything poorly. Like, I think it executed what it wanted to execute really well. I used to really love ensemble pieces, and this is very theater. Like,
yes,
I kind of wish it was in a black box because it was a lot of like, we're going to make the set with just these chairs kind of vibe. So I was not surprised when you said that they had like come from a fringe festival thing, because I was like,
yes, very, totally.
But I think I've lost my appetite for ensemble pieces a little bit, especially to this degree where there's like truly not a main character. Like I was wishing for something to hold on to a little bit more. And it made it harder. And I always feel like there's more work that it has to do in a pro shot to like draw me in and get me in there. And so I was feeling like, I wonder if I would have liked it more if I had seen it on stage. But I was like for me, it felt like I was a little too aware of like the directing, of the acting, of the fact that like they were doing so much work to play all these distinctive characters. I feel like it'd be a great show to like be an actor, and it would ask you to like use a lot of range, and it would be a really great challenge. But as an audience member, I felt like I was like working really hard so that they could have a lot of fun on stage almost. And so
because they are, I mean, they're running around. There's a lot.
They're working.
Work.
They're working.
They are working.
There. So yeah, I just think that my personal preference would have been to have a little bit more of a through line of a story.
I do agree. This is a pro shot that is like capital T theater. Like you are a theater person that understands the convention and like this form of storytelling to be able to like understand. I mean, like a person that doesn't watch theater could still watch this and be like, oh, I kind of see, but they will be coming in with a lot of questions of like, oh, wow, like they're moving so quickly and now they're a different character, and like subtle changes to reflect that like one piece of clothing is now that they are a different person. You know,
I even got confused. I'm like generally pretty good at that because I've seen a lot of theater like that. And especially any characters that didn't have like a counterpoint, it was hard for me sometimes to remember. So like the guy from New York that ends up like stealing the barbecues, like by the time I got to that part, I could kind of remember who it was, but it was a lot easier for me to remember like the couples because it was like when I was like, oh, okay, when I see
they're distinct
together, now I know where I am in the story. So yeah, I think that unlike Hamilton, which is like known for being a musical that a lot of non-musical people can enjoy, like this is really like a musical for theater people.
Yeah. But I do think like if you are going to talk about this event and specifically, you know, the Gander situation, but specifically 9/11, there is a sense of like, because it's such a shared experience and everyone has a different story. Like I think you could obviously just follow along like one narrative, but like there is a sense of like you kind of have to do like a communal type of ensemble work to like tell the feeling of like everyone went through the same event.
Totally. I understand why they made that choice. I think they made the right choice for the thing that they're trying to tell. I'm just ranking it on my personal preference of music.
Right.
And be super high on my list because I was a little bored, baby. Yeah.
I would say my biggest criticism is that I didn't feel like there were enough peaks and valleys for me to like get fast and slow down. Like I thought there were times where we could have slowed the pace just a bit.
That's when it felt really documentary theater to me because it did feel like we're just going through the timeline of events. I think they had moments where I was like, oh, I wish you slowed this down even more to show like the gravity of this feeling. But sometimes they just kind of like it happens and then you're in the next event already.
I do wonder. I mean, I appreciate that this show is not a 2-act show. I think this would lose a lot of steam if you had to take a break in the middle. But I do wonder if part of their like process was trying to, then I think for the most part, they thread the needle brilliantly of making you realize how serious the situation is for these people while also acknowledging that they are not the victims of 9/11. Like this is not the sorrow story of 9/11, right? Like this is an event that was like tertiary to the main events of 9/11. And while it was serious, and if I was a person stuck on an airplane for 28 hours, I do not know what I would do with myself like that. They like do a little bit of a lady having a claustrophobic attack on a plane. And I was like, but I might be that lady.
I'm shocked the whole plane wasn't that lady, you know?
Yeah.
I think they thread the needle of like,
we know where our
it's
place,
serious, but there's still a lightness to it that they find through each other. Yeah. I mean, I do think the whole point of the show is like we are stronger together than we are apart. It is a community show. It's about like fostering hospitality and community, blah, 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 blah. So all the decisions feel like they are from that main idea, and then everything comes down from there. And for that, I think that's brilliant. The other thing I would say is like, I wish the songs did not feel like they all blended into one big song.
Yeah. I totally agree.
But I think that's more the issue of this genre of music.
Yes.
That's just going to end up being the feeling because they're limiting themselves to a very specific style. And like I know what the different, like the major different songs are with like the Kissing the Cod song, right? Like the Kiss the
Tavern
Fish,
song,
right?
Yes,
There's a bunch of different songs. Me in the Sky is like a great song, but overall, through most of it, you like get little snippets of song, a little snippet of dialogue, back to the song. But is it the same song or is it a new song? Like was like I was never like until the theme changed. Then I was like, oh, this is a new song.
Yeah, I wish the movements were a little more distinct because it did just feel like I was listening to a scored like lecture conversation.
Yeah,
I was watching.
It kind of makes sense because I feel like I've heard people compliment the music of Come From Away, but I had never heard a song from it. And that makes sense that the songs are kind of all similar. And so there's not really like one breakout, maybe the pilot song, but like even that I didn't really have any knowledge of. And I feel like other musicals, they'll have like the song that everybody loves.
Yeah. I would say those are probably my big two chief complaints, but like not enough in my opinion to like not enjoy it. I still really enjoyed it. And I thought I really like, I sat there mostly and I think Molly's definitely going to disagree with this, but like I sat there mostly impressed that they like did this and that it like made, like I left being like, oh, this made the story. Like, I wasn't confused. I wasn't like blah, blah, blah.
Oh, yeah.
Because
coherent. Yeah.
Coherent with as many characters and individual storylines as they're trying to portray. I like this little story of the vet of the SPCA lady trying to save the animals.
Yeah.
I think that's really fun. I think they chose really strong stories and not let it get quagmire. Like there's one story about where you learn that a woman's son was a firefighter and did end up perishing in 9/11. Yeah. But it is not like some shocking, like, and then 30 of these people on these planes all had, her husband was on the flight, right? Like they don't stretch into like leap into like over dramatizing the story because I think the drama of the story, we all know. I mean, most people know. Maybe Gen Zs don't know. Maybe they don't know. But like most people, I think, know the drama of the story. So this is like, it's like in the background as you watch. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like I kept, whenever they kept talking about like how they would watch the TV or whatever, it was like so crazy to me that is like happening. And they are like living this tiny rural life for like a week. Yeah. Yeah. With like and they can't like call anybody. Like they can barely call anyone. Like it's hard to get in contact.
It almost felt like post-apocalyptic literature where the actual event that happened is not really the focus. And I've read books that are like, you never really find out what the event was. Mm-hmm. What's important is like the micro society that's built afterwards, which is something that I do really, I'm a big fan of post-apocalyptic literature.
You're just getting ready.
I'm getting ready. I'm always prepping. So I did like that. And I felt like obviously the theme of like the community, but there was also this theme to me of like of all these people went through this time of like forced reflection on their lives. And then we see everybody going back and like making decisions about like, what is this new thing I'm going to prioritize? Like we see a new couple get together. We see another couple break up. We see the guy who's been the New York guy who's like very suspicious of everybody ends up being the one to like pass around the hat to raise the money for the scholarships. Like he changes his relationship with like suspicion of other people, generosity, that kind of thing. So like, I really liked that through line too of it didn't have to be 9/11. It could have been anything that just like threw these people together and said like, you have to be disconnected from your regular lives for a long enough amount of time that you have to like really think about what it is that you want and what kind of person you want to be. And I thought that was a cool theme for a musical.
Yeah, because I think the idea of forced like camaraderie with a bunch of people on a thing that you were only supposed to be on for like 6 hours and now it's like a week, like you're forced to be with them for a week is like it's just an insane thought. Like it's so bonkers that this was happening.
And like makes you think like all of the moments, like getting in a bus, where you do for a brief moment have to be in a communal space. Like, there's that like human element of like when you have to like just all of a sudden, be survivalist with a bunch of people. Like, and like, I thought it was really interesting what kind of stories they chose to portray. Like I thought the bus of African passengers and like not being able to like communicate with them. And when they like when the Newfoundlander saw that they were holding Bibles, he was like using the quotes to kind of like to communicate. I just small things like that it was really impactful.
I do agree that this is if we want to talk about peak
Ernest
Obama era nice theater, this is like nice with a capital N. Like this is like about Canadian niceness. Specifically.
Well, so it is, but it's actually when did it open? Maybe it opened at the very end of the Obama era.
It opened on Broadway in 2017.
It opened on Broadway in 2017, but it started in San Diego in 2015.
Okay, so it started in the Obama era. What I think is interesting is that this pro shot is in the context of first show back from COVID. Yeah. And that is also where I think I had a level of sadness watching this because I know that I feel this way and I've heard other people express this, that the pandemic really shifted my opinion about humanity's ability to pull together and work collectively for the common good. And this is very much a musical about people being able to do that. And then to think about that and like be forced to put the pandemic in relationship to that made me sort of sad about the way that I felt that the pandemic revealed a lot of people's characters as not being willing to work towards the common good.
Yes.
Not in my personal life, but like in the realm of
in
society.
general, just what you're seeing.
And so I was like, I don't know what to do with this message of like people will pull together when really needed, when I feel like I've had an example recently of that not happening.
Right. I wish they had not introduced the pro shot in that way, because I think at the moment they filmed it, that was like trying to be what they were trying. They were trying to be like, look, we can do it again. Like, but that is not what happened with COVID. People did not pull together. People got very weird. And like, speaking of conspiracy theories, it's just conspiracy theory central now, like in a post-COVID world.
Cell phone towers, like everything.
5G COVID.
Yeah.
That I do wish like was not a part of this, simply because I was like, I think we were too in the middle of it for you to have a take on how COVID affected anything.
I almost wish that it was just presented as like, I don't know, like if they just showed those empty theaters or something, like just like. I
wish it had been to an empty audience. I wish there had been nobody in the audience, because I think that would have been more powerful.
Yeah.
Even if it was an acknowledgement that this is COVID, but that's why we're doing it this way.
And then just the timestamp of like shot in 2020.
I mean, listen, the audience is all masked. Like, everybody's coming in masks. They're all doing the right, like, they're all doing what they're supposed to be doing or whatever. Even if what if you start, this is what they should have done. They should have started it showing that it's like an empty theater. And then when the curtain call happens, it's a full house.
It's a full
and they're all
house.
applauding.
Wow. That's
that would have been
gorgeous.
Beautiful.
I think the other thing that we didn't know in 2021 is that we would be so sick of thinking about the pandemic in 2025 that any reminder of it, I'm like, stop, get it off my screen.
I know. Yeah. Have we hit that yet? Or it's like, is our media? I mean, I know there is pandemic media out there, but have we hit that yet? Where it's like now we're watching like a lot of our.
I don't think we have a definitive pandemic piece, but I don't know if we're ever going to have a definitive pandemic piece, because if you look back, like there wasn't stuff written about like the Spanish flu. Like there isn't like media about huge. There's media about wars, but because those are specific conflicts, not like diseases that run rampant.
Yeah.
Obviously, like epidemics aside, because like AIDS is like, there's a bunch of media about AIDS, but
yeah. I think, well, there's that Sundance movie that's caused controversy that's like about a town dealing with the pandemic, I think.
Oh, yes.
It's a Pedro Pascal movie. I'm not sure, but I think I think that we will not be ready to reflect on the pandemic until Donald Trump is no longer able to be the president.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I think it's too interwoven with him and the conspiracies that he has helped promote.
I'm trying to find that movie. Eddington.
Oh.
But I also like, even without the Trump part, like it's too soon still for me to reflect on it personally.
Yeah.
I need to like live my life a little bit more before I can think about it again.
Well, it was like, for me, it's like when we go to Musical Mondays and they play a Zoom performance, and I'm like, not the Zoom performance. Yeah. Like, yes, I know, like we wanted to perform, like theater wanted to show that we're still alive, but like, I don't want to
put it in time capsule, maybe in 10 years. Not right now.
Yeah. I don't want to see the Ladies Who Lunch video. Yes, they're amazing. Yes, Christine Baranski in a robe singing Ladies Who Lunch, but that was so sad. I don't want to see it. So.
Yeah.
Okay. Was there anybody that stood out to you cast wise or story wise that you really liked? I think my favorite storyline. Well, first I'll say two. I already said the SPCA lady. I thought that was great. I also really liked the really side character of Annette, who's this like helper who's been helping at the school. She's the one who wears the vest. It's also played by Jen Colella, and she like has the hots for one of the
pilots, captains. And like she just keeps
like
imagining.
Every man.
Yes. She was just having her own little fantasy novel. Like every new man.
One of these out of towners are going to come sweep me off my feet.
Right. The cardiologist that volunteer to scrub the bathroom and they have like a whole moment. That's so cute. Yeah, I did like that. I also have the SPCA lady. And then my other favorite were the couple that got together.
Yes.
Now, I'm feeling in love, obviously, but also I really
love is love for me.
Love is love. But I also really loved that they were not like a young couple.
Yes, I
They were like
I
middle-aged,
really like that a lot.
divorced, like,
I love how, and this is gonna sound shady. I swear it's not. I really like how normal everyone looks.
Yes,
yeah.
I think it's a strength of the show.
People.
They just look like people. Absolutely.
There's like
and they sound incredible. Yeah.
The ages for me, like I think seeing so many like older actors singing the way they're singing with such like heft and like honestly, like all that movement, like all the pictures that they're making, it was really impressive because I was like, I feel like I was saying, Adam, like it reminded me of watching like Our Town, like the Our Town production we saw on Broadway, like last year. Cause it was just like, it was so cool to see like such an older cast be able to do and move around and sing like this.
And then the woman who played the mother whose son is a firefighter in New York had just a gorgeous voice.
Yes, absolutely.
She was great. I liked on the passenger side. I was so. I'm worried to say this because I'm worried that it's going to sound like I think it's enough or whatever. But I'm glad they included the Egyptian guy, who experiences like Islamophobia at the time. I was reading that there was like criticism of the show that like it doesn't get into enough about it, like. There's like people feel that it's too what do I want to say? Like it just relies on the fact that you're just like, oh, the Canadians are so nice when like obviously there was still Islamophobia happening in Canada, and like that just being Canadian does not absolve one of being like having shitty points of view. I don't know how strongly I feel about like I guess I felt like I was glad. I would have been more upset if they hadn't included anything.
Yeah.
Because it is such a devastating one of the few devastating aspects of the world that existed post 9/11. Like we were in a 20-year war, and it was primarily on the backs of people feeling extremely Islamophobic and continuously to this day feeling very Islamophobic. So I was glad that they like addressed it in some capacity. And I thought that it was very moving, and I liked that he was still, for me, I was glad that when he was like brought into the fold from the Canadians, it was not all of them en masse were like, this is a good man or anything like that. It was like he was able to offer his help to Beulah and she accepted. Like it's the whole show is about these like small, tiny gestures. And I think that is what leaves such an impression, and like why, yes, it can feel extremely earnest, very earnest. I feel like it doesn't tip over into like saccharine or like overly sentimental, because it's so about it was like, it's not like them like comforting each other or whatever. It's like about like them making food or like getting the grills together to do the cookout. It's like there's always like a thing that's happening that they're just trying to do so everybody can take their mind off what's going on.
They're the humanity and just trying to solve people's basic needs. Like going to Shoppers just to get Pampers and then going back to get tampons, and then just having people, like we just need to grab everyone's grill so that we can serve as much food. Turning the hockey rink into a giant refrigerator, like just these things that like we just need to solve for this that needs to happen right now. Like we can't stop and think and reflect and try to solve like what's going on, because there's a person here that just needs to be able to sleep.
XYZ.
Yeah.
Did you have any that you wanted to share?
I will say we watched this at like 1:30 a.m. last night, and I told Adam, I was like, I will fall asleep. It's inevitable. I did not. The pace was so fast that I was like, wow, I'm following along. I'm keeping up. So
I've been falling asleep on the couch at like 8:50 for the last week, so I cannot believe.
Molly's so old.
I'm so old. I walked so many steps in camp. Do you want to guess how many steps I got today?
20.
Do you hit? I'm gonna.
Do you hit 15?
I'm gonna say 16.
17.
Wow.
I have had days.
How many
where I hit
miles
20.
is that?
I don't know.
Does it convert?
Let me click
it
on
show
my
you?
Fitbit thing.
That's crazy. 17 steps in total, right? Just 1, 2, 3, 4,
Yeah,
5, 6.
17 steps. 8.15. Yeah, 8.15 miles.
Oh my God.
Like 2 nights ago, Adam and I walked home from Wrigley and we felt like we were dying.
We thought it was over. We were cooked. Wow.
And we weren't even in the sun.
Molly can do it. We can do it.
Oh.
You're an outdoorsy girl. You guys go on hikes,
Yeah.
Would you describe yourself as an outdoorsy?
No, but
No.
I like hiking. Hiking is good.
Yeah, she gets
A day
sunburned.
hike.
Yeah. Adam loves to hike as well. Never goes on.
Anyway, 9/11.
Do we want to listen to any of these songs? Let me play. At the very least, I have to play "Me in the Sky."
Yes.
Okay.
Suddenly I'm flying Paris to Dallas, across the Atlantic and feeling calm. When suddenly someone on air-to-air traffic says at 8:46 there's been a terrorist action. And the one thing I loved more than anything was used as the bomb. Suddenly I'm in a hotel. Suddenly something has died. Suddenly there's something in between me and the sky.
I like the song. The only thing that really, I don't even know if bothers is the right word, but it is the contemporary musical. I'm speaking the lyrics, but singing in a singing fashion. But this song does the thing of like the big drop of like emotional drop that all of a sudden it's like the one thing that I love in this world killed a bunch of people. And so it was just like, like as if I was a non-theater person and I wasn't in the sauce, like deep in the sauce of that, I'd be like, whoa, that's so jarring.
Yeah.
But I think she does a great job. And the range on this song, like
Her range is crazy.
yeah. And it feels effortless, like singing the song. And the song is like, it goes from low to high, like crazy. So
I like the song. I thought, I really do think she's there's really no ensemble member that I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
I
that's
just
true,
think they're all so strong. And
Everyone
like,
is meeting the bar for sure. Yeah.
and there's so much, like, I guess just camaraderie. Like, there's so much like we're in this together. And this show is so funny. I thought was the other thing that I was so surprised by, because while I didn't think it was going to be a somber piece based on like what I knew people had said about it, like that, how much they liked it, I didn't think it was going to be like super sad or anything. I just wasn't prepared for this is like filled with jokes. Like, and a lot of them are like Canadian, like the funny things about
Quirky,
quirky Canadian things, like quirky rural Newfoundland Canadian things. But I really like there's a one part where the guy who plays the mayor, they like reference him being like looking like he plays all the mayors in like one little line or whatever.
He just does different hats.
And he has different hats and somebody holds up a mustache. It's very like, it's so witty. It really, that is like what feels very French.
well directed, like creative. Yeah, in that way.
Yeah. There was another song that I wanted to do, which was, is it Screech In? Is that what?
Is that, I think Screech is the thing that they have to drink when they're becoming Newfoundlanders.
Yeah. So that was I think this is the
tavern song.
The tavern song.
Which I think
it's not a musical if there's no
I was about to
song.
say, like the drinking song in a movie musical / musical, I think more specifically. Like it's such a stalwart. A staple, yes. That's
I really like this song. And I thought, even though this is probably the goofiest part of the show, I like that it actually led to something. Like, I like that it led to our two couples having realizations about each other. And like, it wasn't just a scene to have like a fun number. Like, it actually ended up being plot based as well, which is what a musical should do.
Exactly.
I don't know if you knew, Molly.
This is also where the ugly stick comes in.
Screeching. Yes, this is when RJ the ugly stick comes in.
yes, my role as ugly stick.
Hey, hey, come on tonight. Take a risk and take a ride. Jump right in with both feet tied and you'll be out of Finlander. Hey, hey, come on once more. Nothing major, nothing sore. After it's over, out the door and you'll be out of Finlander. You'll remember that you're a new Finlander.
Molly, if you could pick one person, because your issue was like there wasn't a central main character, who would you pick?
I have a choice. I have a choice for this one as well.
Would I pick as I was rewriting it and I would focus on this person, or like who to me felt like the most main character of the piece that existed?
Either.
Who would have interested you being like, I would have loved to follow the story through this lens, maybe?
I really liked the woman that was in the couple, but I don't know that I want more from her. I just enjoyed the part where she was on screen. I think the reporter could be kind of considered a main character because she is there with all the other characters and is kind of giving the direct address of like, here's what's happening and here's what we need. And then I think that the musical feels like the pilot is also a main character based on her getting the big number, but I did not feel like that. I didn't really feel like she was a main character until that number. So maybe the reporter would be my pick.
The reporter was going to be my pick too. I liked that the added stakes of like, it's her literal first day, was really interesting. And just being able to kind of like be the person that, they had really great lines of like, the elk lodge needs moose. I'm sorry, the
elks.
The elks need, or whatever,
yes. So I thought that was really cute, and like also genuinely like afraid. Like there were moments where she was like, I don't know if we can do this, and like I think through telling the stories of just reporting what people need, like through her eyes realizing, oh wow, it's actually happening. Like we're actually being able to do this.
I think there's like, I agree. She's probably who, if I had to go back and pick, I would pick her as like a main character to follow. I don't think I need one. I think like, in my view, I think it's stronger that it doesn't have a central character, but I do agree it has to be a Newfoundlander. Like it should not be anybody on the plane.
Shouldn't be a passenger. Yeah.
I would say that I think another part of like the story that I think is like, I don't know, is beautiful, too precious of a word, but like something about there's not a discussion of like, oh, will this be good enough? Like they are confronted with an obstacle and then they just like, well, we just have to do it. We just have to take care of it. And it's kind of addressed once they leave. And the mayor says like, it wasn't until they all left that I was finally able to like cry. Yeah. And I just got so emotional. I just thought it was so kind. Like, I think that's a part of, I agree that this did not happen in COVID, by the way, but I like this thing that happens with humanity where we like just have to get, we have to do something, even if it's not perfect, something has to happen.
Yeah.
There's like a real, I always feel like it's a real Midwestern pragmatism, like that I really
make them something.
Yes. Yeah. Make them a casserole to bring over.
Yeah. I think that there is also an element of COVID that it just lasted for too long for us to.
We lost that. Yeah. Like
I think that for like the first 5 days of COVID, we probably did band together in the way that this portrayed.
I mean, but COVID in itself is like, we couldn't band together because we were supposed to be isolating. Like the togetherness was in spirit.
Right.
But obviously it
was really hard to feel.
It was very hard to feel. And I think there are a lot of people who probably should have realized through COVID that they have mental health problems in terms of like, what am I trying to say? I think there are a lot of people who feel more uncomfortable when things don't go the way they normally do.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of just reflecting and being like, how can I help myself feel comfortable? They just decided this was wrong.
Yeah.
And I think that was like the hardest part. Like there were obviously like the masking alone, but then just like they felt, and like, we are going to, I can't believe we're talking about COVID, but we are going to experience this for a long time, because I do think there were detrimental effects of like isolation and stuff, like, right. Like, I think it's very clear with like kids,
the generation
that they have like, they were stunted socially due to a prolonged separation from people. And that's probably just one of many things that are happened because of it. But the frustrating part was that it felt like there were so many people that weren't willing to confront. They just wanted it to be back to normal as fast as it could possibly be back to normal, instead of actually like being like, how can we figure out what new normal looks like? Which I think was like the most frustrating part.
Yeah. But the point is that it was a very different crisis from what's being portrayed here, where it's very much about co-presence. It's about being like way too present with other people, and like, you know, being crowded in a place because you're basically doubling the size of the population here. And the intensity of the time of it being like, I think it was about 5 days-ish that they were there before the airspace reopened. So it's also like you hit that like, well, we just have to do something because it's like, it's right.
There's nothing we can do.
Like, there's nothing we can do. And like, right now we can just put our nose to the grindstone and just figure it out, because you know, it's a limited amount of time where you can just be in crisis.
It's so funny because we were watching the musical, and I was like, how long were they stuck? And it is Tuesday to Saturday. And then on paper, you're like, well, it's not that long. But then you're like, but if you're in it, and there's nothing to do, right? Like even now I feel like it would be different, because people would be able to like, you know, watch Netflix, like just do something.
You
like
can't do anything. You're you're sleeping on.
You don't know anyone, right?
Yeah.
Like there's
you're by yourself.
It would feel like eternity, and you don't know when it's going to be over.
Yeah.
I think if anyone has ever been to like a week-long sleepaway camp, they will understand that like a lot of stuff can happen in a week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I definitely went to like not that long of sleepaway summer camps, and they still felt like a whole world of stuff that happened.
Yeah. Yeah, that was one thing that stood out to me, was I was like, how long have they been there? And then they were like, well, it's Thursday. And I was like, this happened Tuesday. We're halfway through the show. Gosh, is there anything else? I didn't love the gay story.
Let's talk about it.
I guess I was confused as to like what I was supposed to get out of it. And I understand that I'm watching a 2025 lens too, but like, I understand at the time, right? Like I empathize with the feelings of like, we don't know where we are and how comfortable people are. But when the rift happened between the couple and they decide to like leave, I was confused, because I was like, did something happen, or did he just end up resenting him through the time? Because it just felt like one person was like enjoying the time, not enjoying, but like making the best of the time that they're there and like making friends or whatever. And the other one just wanted to sit and like kind of an equivalent would be like, they just want to sit inside and doom scroll like all day. Like just want to like, because they just are trying to imagine themselves not there anymore.
Yeah, but so when I was looking for Letterboxd reviews, one of the reviews was like Kevin T sucks, who's the one who's like in
the
secretary.
Okay. The secretary. Yeah.
And it's a stupid Letterboxd review, right? Like it's supposed to be a joke, but I was like, I guess you are, as the audience, supposed to, because they end with the main Kevin later in the 10-year later, like he has a new boyfriend or whatever.
Yeah.
I feel like it's telling the audience like you should be on his side more, but I do feel like there's an element of that storyline that I don't think was like truly processed, because he says like he's originally from Brooklyn. Like he says his sister's in Brooklyn, and that's why he wanted to go back to New York to see her. And I was so confused why that was like not a clear issue. I mean, like I guess that was the one storyline that I was like, I get that they're fun. Like it's a chance to have like a funny. And I really, one of my favorite lines in the whole show is when they're like, well, you don't know what these, people think about us. And then the lady goes, and this lovely gay couple.
Yeah, that was very funny.
Yes.
That was probably it's the best joke of the show. But,
okay.
yeah.
I agree that I was like a little confused by the breakup, that I was like, I feel like I'm missing some information. I think in retrospect, the fact that, so I actually thought that it was more the other Kevin's fault. The fact that
which Kevin?
The CEO Kevin.
Let's say LA Kevin and New York Kevin.
Okay.
So I felt like it was more LA Kevin's fault because I think New York Kevin, the fact that New York Kevin was his secretary, they made a lot of jokes about like, oh, the sexy Terry or whatever. It made me think, okay, I think it's that LA Kevin is so like, I need you to just fit into my life that he doesn't ever take New York Kevin's feelings or preferences into consideration. That he's like, that LA Kevin is like, I want to go to the bar, so we're going to the bar and I'm going to stay here even when you're asking me to leave. And that it was that. And so I felt like when at the end, LA Kevin had a new like sexy Terry, I was like, oh, okay, you're just like going to repeat this pattern of I find men who have less going on so that they can fit into my life instead of me kind of making room for both of us. But it felt a little too under the surface. I felt like it needed to, I think that's where they were going with it, but it wasn't quite clearly laid out.
Yeah.
But I think
that
also,
makes sense.
I think that maybe what would have helped that would be when we have the fun tavern song, New York Kevin kind of slips away. And it would have been nice to have like a direct address from him or something where we like hear a little bit more of his
why it upset you.
Yeah.
I understand why he slips away like in the reality of the play, but like have him have this moment with the audience of like, here's how this pattern has been repeating in my life, and here's why I have to go back to New York. So that then it could be like a little more explicit what was going on there.
Yeah. That was the storyline that I was like, I don't really get it. I mean, the other one is so clear and on the nose and honestly very charming. The like Texan lady and the British guy. I thought that was like so sweet to add to this show that is not intended to be a romance in any way whatsoever. That I did really like that aspect of the show. But I was so confused. So I'm glad we talked about it. Can I just say one thing? We'll do one more song that I wanted to talk about because I think it's an actual true highlight of the show. There's a song called Prayer that happens, and it's a combination of like
Catholic hymn.
Right?
Make me a channel of your peace.
Banger, Catholic banger.
As a former cantor,
And
shout out to the hymns.
and a Jewish prayer, a Hindi prayer, and a Muslim prayer. And the scene ends up where there's like on one of the planes there was a rabbi on board, and one of the town locals comes to him to say like, I was so moving. It was like he said that he was sent to Canada when he was like really little from Poland during the war,
and was told not to say that he was Jewish.
And to never say that he was Jewish. And he was like, but I still remember some of the prayers. And so they pray together. And I thought this moment, I thought it was so powerful to have this moment of, listen, is it a little bit the coexist bumper sticker? Yes, yes, it is. I'm acknowledging that.
Yes.
Okay.
And they actually, in the choreography, they actually spell out the letters, which was
that's so crazy when they spell coexist with their bodies. Yeah,
it's beautiful. Oh my God, my liberal heart was moved. But I thought, this is a terrorist attack that in part was brought about by religious extremism.
Yeah.
And I thought and both America, well, I guess it used to, girl, I don't know anymore. But America and Canada both prided themselves on being melting pots of many different cultures, right?
Yes.
Many people have immigrated and we all live together, maybe not in harmony, but we all live together and we all are respectful of each other's views, blah, blah, blah. So I thought it was such a nice moment to reinforce that idea. And maybe it did even feel like in 2021, like, hey, we can do this. Like, this is fine. We can just all have a little prayer together, and it is what it is. I'm sure in 2017 it felt like, hey, hey. But I really thought this scene was so. When it
really
started,
cool.
I was like, oh boy, here we go.
Yeah, I was a little sweaty kind of going into it, but I thought, like, obviously they did a very like respectful, but so beautiful, like beautifully kind of like orchestrated.
Mm-hmm.
Make me a channel of your peace. Make me a channel of your peace. There's despair in life, where there's despair in life, let me bring
Where there is darkness, only light.
There is darkness, only light.
Where there's sadness, ever
say shalom bimrovav. Uya say shalom aleinu. Fe'al kol Yisrael.
Did you have thoughts on Coexist, Molly?
Yeah,
shouldn't.
I'm pro coexisting. No, I agree. I thought it was a really beautiful, like, it was kind of a quiet number, which felt
Yeah.
called for in the context of praying. And I felt like it helped tell a story of like everyone is praying in their different ways, because I mean, that's also kind of a theme of the show, because they're also people from all over the world that are there. There's a lot of stuff about the language and like they're getting up being like, if anybody speaks Mandarin, if you can come to the library, and if you speak Hindi, can you go to the cafeteria? Like,
Yes,
so I thought
yes.
that was also nice to be like, here's a way that they're all united in different ways, but like they're all praying. They're all doing something. They're working towards like a common thing, even though they're doing it in very different ways.
Yeah.
If there was one thing that I would love to see, like if someone were to like remount this production or like do a new production of it now, like I would like to see more of the like language play. I didn't like, I know they talk about it, that like, does anyone like, there's that funny scene of Beulah and Annette being like, we need someone that can translate. I think it's Moldovan. Like they don't even know what the language is. But I think it would have been just like I would have loved to like be able to play around with that more of, because I don't think, like the religion conversation made me think about
very
like,
the movie Babel.
very Babel. Yeah. Of like, just the fact that there are, for the people in this town, people from places in the world that they didn't even know existed, or like what could be the context of like who a person from that place would be, and like to be able to kind of like play around with the actual hearing of the languages for an audience, I think would be really cool.
Well, originally they were going to do a full movie movie musical version of this, and then it got changed to be a pro shot.
I think there is something about the telling of like what's happening that does help the audience to not feel like, oh, I'm sucked back into like how heavy this is.
I'm in 9/11 now.
Yeah. So that I did appreciate, like, because I'm hearing it from, there is a perspective of like someone kind of repeating what they saw.
Yeah.
There's a removal that still feels like, oh, I empathize, but I don't have to be dropped in the like, that happened.
I feel like there's I think that there is a real magic of the show that is the characters swapping. I mean, it's thematic, right? Like the passengers being also played by the same actors who are playing the Newfoundlanders. It's to pointedly be like we're all just
figuring it out.
Figuring it out. Like, so I think while I would probably see a movie musical version of this just to see how that works. Like, I think there would be so much lost from the piece's identity.
I feel like already tired thinking about the number of cuts you would have to have because of the pace.
Oh my God.
It's like so much shifting from place to place.
Well, or just like scenes would be like, they would just have to expand scenes to be much longer. And I think it would just be such a different show. Yeah. It reminds me of like what they kind of like how, if I've ever thought about how ever they would do like a company movie musical, it would be like insane. And because it's so, I don't want to say abstract, but it's abstracted out of like a real kind of reality.
Oh my God, I love Company. It's so good.
That would be a great pro shot to watch. The Roll Esparza one.
Yeah.
The Neil Patrick Harris one. Yeah, I agree.
No, the Roll Esparza.
No, the Roll Esparza. The Neil Patrick was just a concert, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Is there anything else? I mean, my God, you people, and you're talking.
Would you want to?
I did cry when she found out her son died.
Yes.
That was when I
very.
Yeah.
Would you want to direct or be in the show?
I have to pick one of those two, or you're just asking if I'd want to do
I think so.
I want to direct and be in the show.
Oh, okay. Well, good luck.
Yeah, I mean, I would want to direct. I'm not really a performer, so that's obvious. And I think it'd be more interesting to direct personally.
I think it feels like such a daunting task. Like you really do have to. Although I will say, like, the writing does kind of like lend itself to like it's there, like just kind of lead the cast to what the piece is trying to say. But it just feels like, oh my God, there's so, and this turntable, like I couldn't imagine directing a turntable. Like that would just freak me out. I'd be like, is everyone okay? Is everyone okay, please?
I can't even imagine what their initial, how they started the process of developing this, because it is so non-normative in terms of like scene. Like it's so unstructured in a way that you have to just
modern.
You have to like find it really organically, I'm sure, just in rehearsal.
Yeah.
And
I was like
it
a
would
little
be
stressed. Yeah, I was stressed for them knowing that it was the first show back from the pandemic. I was like, are they going to remember all of this? Oh my God.
I know. It would just be fascinating to know what the process was like to develop it, because I don't know how anyone would have a big enough brain to like envision all this from the start. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying that directors always do, right? There are things that organically are found in rehearsals anyway, but if I was given this as a script and I had nothing to base this off of, I would be so lost because it's so amorphous that you have to set the parameters and the guidelines of what you want. And I think it's done really well. And I think the lighting design is a true highlight of like the technical aspect of the show, because I just think it's used so effectively to help tell the story.
Do you want to say more about, you were saying that you think it's really well shot?
Oh
yeah.
We watched Diana last year. That's kind of its own thing that we watched. The other one I was comparing it to that it feels most similar to is Hamilton, in that it is very unstructured in a very similar way. And I think the turntable. I think this is much better presented than Hamilton's Pro Shot. I think Hamilton's Pro Shot is good. I'm not saying it's bad, but I think I felt like there is a correct distance from the actor I feel that we need to be if I am watching something where they are on a stage. And I think this gets it right more than Hamilton does. Hamilton, I felt like we were doing close-ups too often in Hamilton.
Yeah.
There are some here. I'm not saying that,
but it's very effective. Like where
it's very pointed when they use close-up shots here.
Yeah.
And I responded. I just felt like I was able to. It felt like how your eyes will go to action.
Yes.
And watch the entirety of that moment in action versus. You can't see people up close, obviously. And that is the joy of film, right? That you can like get nuanced acting, but theater performers do not perform for
a close-up shot.
Yeah. So I think more often it is better to like just get a full body image of them. Yeah. That's what I felt like.
Yeah, I agree. Good.
In our pantheon in our ranking of pro shots that we've seen, is this number 1, then Legally Blonde 2, then Diana 3?
Well, it's hard because are we ranking the pro shot themselves? Or are we ranking? I mean, I would still say this is probably my favorite of the 3 we watched, but is it? I mean, this is also probably my favorite of the 3 pieces too. So
I think the pro shot in general, the pro shot specifically,
the actual
and our
filmed media
and us saying that a pro shot is does the experience of watching the musical like justice, like if we were there.
I think this is definitely my top pro shot in terms of quality of shooting the live production. I feel like I'm having I kind of want to agree with RJ's ranking, but I'm having trouble separating my feelings about Legally Blonde versus Diana as pieces of media and how much that might be coloring my opinion of the quality of the pro shots.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I felt like the Diana pro shot was like competently made. Obviously, like he had already done Come From Away, so like able to use the same skills.
It's not like we're watching any pro shots where it's like, well, that person's singing, but they're not even on screen or something. Like everyone's doing fine. Yeah.
Right. Well, shall we move on?
Yeah.
Welcome to the park, welcome to the trees. A kiss and a card and whatever's in between. To the ones who've left, you're never truly gone. A candle's in the window and the candle's always on. To the coals and the caves and the people from the plains.
5 days.
19 animals.
And 7,000 strays.
looking for a harbor, then you'll find an open door. In the winter, from the water, through whatever's in the way. To the ones who have come from away, we say, welcome to the, 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 welcome to the rock.
Okay, so I have a couple critics, reviews here for the Pro Shot specifically, not just the musical. So it has a 98% on Rotten Tomatoes, certified fresh, very high ranking. Charles McNulty from the LA Times writes, "You're never for a minute unaware that you're watching a Broadway show. This is essential for a work in which the performers switch roles, Gander residents becoming passengers in the blink of a lighting cue. The scenery is minimalist and in constant motion, and there are no stars, though Jen Colella earned a Tony nomination for her performance as a pioneering female pilot dedicated to keeping everyone on her flight safe. Ashley accentuates in his film what is most luminous in his staging. That includes the magnificent lighting design of Howell Blinkley, who died last year. The hues of the production create a theatrical world unto itself, allowing the frolicsome choreography of Kelly Devine to move with unflashy freedom. Best of all, the veteran cast members from Come From Away look convincingly like ordinary characters they're playing. The heroes of 9/11 weren't those swanning in the spotlight, but regular folks answering the call of compassionate duty." And from the Times UK, this is Kevin Marr. "It's very on the nose, not ironic or smart, but perhaps more affecting because of that. Random acts of altruism, the passengers are given clothing, lodging, and emotional support, rarely get old, especially when they're wrapped up in toe-tapping tunes, some nice comedy diversions, and big ideas about the personal transformations triggered by seismic events. It looks horrible. The set is just a brick wall, a wooden stage, and a row of chairs to signify an aircraft interior, but that's the point. Authenticity needs no disguise, and this musical has plenty." So positive reviews there from the critics. On Letterboxd, this has a 4.2 rating. I'm going to read some regular people reviews now. Lee gave it 5 stars and said, "Through tears, Jen Colella, please kiss me." Jack Tucker said, "Theater kids need their own Letterboxd so they have a place to let it all out." Emma gave it 4.5 stars and said, "Everything starts and ends at Tim Hortons is both a line in this musical and the way my father lives every day of his life." And finally, Cameron gave it 4.5 stars and said, "Eat shit, dear Evan Hansen." And this is one of the online theater community's biggest frustrations, is that Dear Evan Hansen beats not just Come From Away, but also Natasha Pierre and The Great Comet of 1812. Those are the other two that people were like, they're so much better. But at the time, Dear Evan Hansen was huge. Like, people were like losing their mind over Dear Evan Hansen.
Yeah. I would not watch the movie Dear Evan Hansen over this Pro Shot, but I would go see a production of Dear Evan Hansen live over seeing Come From Away live. And you can come at me, Theater TikTok, if you want, because I don't care.
I don't think I would see a production of Dear Evan Hansen live. I think it's truly not for me, but I would see this live. So, Miranda, if you want to go, let me know. Okay, RJ, since you summarized, who is your MVP? Here.
Can you take me back to the Wikipedia page? I will. As far as performances, like we said, I think everyone does a really great job. Mm-hmm. I had a very soft spot, I think, for the performer that did Beulah, Astrid Van Wieren. Beulah, who kind of ran the school basically and almost became like the person assigning the jobs, assigning the resources. And I just always have a soft spot for that kind of like that matronly character that takes care of everyone.
RJ loves a matron.
I do. I love a matron. And I loved how Beulah kind of like took over. Mm-hmm. So I appreciate that. Yeah, that's fine. Astrid.
Molly.
Sharon Wheatley, I really was rooting for her character, and I felt like because it moved so fast, it was hard for me to really root for a lot of the characters. So I was very charmed by her, and I was really rooting for her to be happy in the end. So I'm going to give it to her. And then I'm also, because I know that I'm going to say some bullshit like the director, I'm going to give a special shout out to the woman whose son dies as a firefighter, because like I said, her voice was really beautiful.
I believe
and
that's
she had a
Q Smith.
Q Smith. I thought had a heavy lift of being this like emotional point in the show without having a lot of time for that character, and did that well.
Yes. And a great voice.
Yeah.
Adam.
You're right. I'm going to give it to the director. The other thing I just remembered while I was watching this that we didn't talk about, and I'm sorry to throw this back in at the end.
Okay.
The scene where the Ali
the
is
Egyptian.
strip searched.
Oh yeah.
And then the pilot just goes, I'm so sorry that happened. It feels so, and I think it's supposed to feel like it's not enough.
Right.
It is so horrible. The discussion of like, there's a part of my body that only my wife is supposed to see, and they were like privy to this and da 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 da. Like, anyway, I just that is like a very as nice as the show is. There's like that like shattering moment of being like, there's going to be a different world after this point.
Yeah.
And it's only because of our own fear. Yes, I'm going to give it to Christopher Ashley, who directed this and obviously famously directed Titan of the Musical, which we loved.
Wow.
He's the artistic director of La Jolla. We talked about this last year.
I'm
And
so
Roundabout
sorry
Theater-
for
Roundabout
saying
Theater
this
Company.
bullshit that Adam was going to give him the MVP.
But he, don't worry, Molly, he's leaving La Jolla. He's becoming the Roundabout Theater Company artistic director in 2026. So, phew. Yeah, I think the direction of the show and the direction of the pro shot is just really well done. So, that's it. Okay, Molly, did you have a closer?
Yeah, pitch me another 9/11 musical.
Oh my God. Jesus. Right.
We're just gonna cut.
And then they just plays the outro. Thank you for joining us for another episode of SHOWGAYS.
Oh my God.
Wasn't there a movie that we watched that like premiered on 9/11 and that's why it flopped?
Glitter's album came out on 9/11 and that's why Glitter flopped famously.
Wow.
The Mariah Carey musical.
Yeah, so do whoever was promoting that movie and it's like their office.
Well, their story. There's like a famous true crime thing about this woman who disappeared on like September 10th in New York. And it's like, did she die in 9/11? Did she disappear elsewhere? Blah, blah, blah. So I'm gonna do a black box musical about that woman disappearing.
Jesus.
Yeah.
The one I thought of was like, it's a teacher in a classroom and they're getting ready for a special event. And at the end of the show, you realize that it's the day George Bush comes to read like the books to the kids.
Oh
in
my
Florida.
God, that's brilliant. It's the class.
But it's not about the show is not about
9/11. You just realize. So we don't ever see him read the story. Like we're
I think the
figuring
end
out as we
shot.
go along,
I think
and then
the
end shot is him
guy
reading
coming
and then
in
the guy-
somebody whispering in his ear. Wow, iconic.
Chilling. Iconic.
La Jolla, I've heard you're hiring.
I hear there's a vacancy.
I heard there's a vacancy. Okay, well that was
Fun?
that was something, wasn't it? Didn't we all? Ain't we got fun? Tune in next time.
Period.
Where we're gonna watch something else.
Yeah, what's the hint for wait. Wait, is that for real?
Yes.
Which
The original.
Okay, I was like, oh.
Hold on, I'm gonna.
We're going all the way back to 1937, honey. We've got one gorgeous gal and her 7 little friends.
Oh. Yes, I believe my pitch for this was we're going to watch the original and we're just going to not talk about the modern version in any way.
Absolutely not. Absolutely
Yep.
not. Yeah. Okay, well,
That would be for you to remember, because last time we did West Side Story, the new one, and you watched both for some godforsaken reason.
Because it was when I was writing my dissertation and I had time to kill, and that is not my life anymore.
Yeah.
How did you say you were writing a dissertation, but you had time? Those two things seem incongruous.
Because you can't write for 8 hours a day, Adam.
Okay, we'll see you then.
Show girls, gays, and theys.
Yeah.
Thank you. Goodbye. Thank you for listening to SHOWGAYS, a Cine Musical podcast. This episode was edited and mixed by Adam Noecker. This has been an Ampliverse production. You can find the Ampliverse on Instagram, Threads, and YouTube at the Ampliverse. Check out our full roster of shows at theampliverse.com. If you'd like to send us your own takes on the movie we just watched, reach out to us via email, and we might just read it aloud on the show. Our email is showgaysmoviemusical@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow us wherever you get your podcasts, and please rate, review, and subscribe to help others find the show. And now, as always, the show must go on, so stick around to hear what we'll be watching next episode.
Coming this summer to theaters everywhere.
Hey, look!
The motion picture event of the year.
What is it? Why, it's a girl.
The 50th anniversary of Walt Disney's timeless classic, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Come celebrate with the fairest of them all, the merriest of them all, and the scariest of them all. It's the golden anniversary of Snow White, Sleepy, Doc, Bashful, Happy, Grumpy, Dopey, and Sneezy.
We gotta save her!
Whether it's your first time or your 50th, now is the time to experience the magic of the most beloved animated motion picture of all time.
A true story. A love story.
Where we will live happily ever after.
Walt Disney's classic, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Opening July 17th in 42 countries worldwide.